Who is my other girl that I used? Oh, Mahogany, Yaya. I got one more. Oh my goodness. Why come I can't think of who else I use? That is like crazy. Okay, well, that's another one that I use when I'm like, out of the country. I use that one out of the country so that I just kind of don't like, get mixed up with the rest of them. I kind of made sure that, nobody's trying to look up my personal information because people are crazy. They look for shit on you online once they meet you. I mean, I don't understand why, but they do. That's the name I used. Don't judge me. My alter ego that I use when I'm out of town is Stephanie. They call me Steffi. I'm just traveling. I could not find that name to save my life. I like to try to keep them all the same so I don't forget them. So there's Mahogany, the party girl. Then there's Yaya, the reserved Florida girl. And then there's Stephanie, the out-of-town traveling chick. She's just kind of out having a good time, trying to, hang out, no personal information. I never give a real phone number. I never give I don't do Facebook. Anytime they ask me anything like that, I always tell them I don't use social media, stuff like that. But for the most part, I use these when I travel by myself. I always keep my location on my phone. I always make sure somebody knows when I'm on or off a plane. I always make sure everybody know where I'm going. I always make sure they know when I leave and they know when I come back. But for the most part, I love hanging with self. Self is very important to me because there are and have been so many times to where I've had to sit and talk to myself about the things that I'm going through and the things that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't mean that I'm not happy with who I am because I choose to do these different personalities when I step outside the realms of my normal world. I'm very happy with who I am. What I'm not going to do is compromise with my happiness. And remember, happiness is a journey, not a destination. I'm not going to interrupt my happiness for anything. I'm not going to interrupt it. I'm not going to let the outside world or the outside occurrences that happen interfere with who I am and what I'm doing on my normal everyday living. I know it sounds like super crazy or super, I don't know. Some people think it's really weird. I don't. I think it is very common. I live in my own world every day. I live in my own world. I don't bother people. I don't want nobody to bother me. And I'm talking about I've gotten to a point to where when I feel like a situation is uncomfortable for me, or if I feel like that your energy is bad, or if I feel like that you are combative on all ends, I distance myself. Anyway. And I'm finding more and more in the world today, there are so many angry, upset, hurtful people in this world that related to you and not related to you, friends to you and not friends to you. Some of these people have been in your life forever, but you are finally, not you. Let me stop. I am finally seeing that I don't have to accept that disruptive behavior in my life because of who they are or how long they've been there or what title they hold with me. I can step away from that anytime I want to, and I'm able to do it so gracefully is because I learned even before I found out I had all these mental health issues. I was able to live with self and do things with self that a lot of people have a hard time doing. And I didn't realize how hard it was for a lot of people to be by themselves. Some people just cannot take it. I can, and I love it. Learn to live in a way that not all the time, but at least some of the time, you are able to take a moment to self. I go to the hot tub by myself every morning that the weather allows. Sit back, I put them AirPods in, and I listen to my music or I listen to a book and I just chill. I take myself out to dinner. Sometimes I just want to eat and read a book or eat and watch a program outside of the rims of my home. Sometimes I just want to have time to reflect on what I'm going through, or reflect on how well things are going, or reflect on where I'm going next in life. It is a choice that we all have to make sometimes when things get really, really just discombobulated in your world. And you got all these voices coming to you at the same time. You got all these opinions coming to you at the same time. Learn to live with self. I learned to live with self, and I love self. Self is very fun. Self is very refreshing. I've learned to be more positive towards myself. I self-talk myself all the time, and a lot of times my self-talk works better when I take the time to treat myself to spa days, treat myself to vacations, treat myself to things that I know that I deserved or that I've earned in order to be able to be better with my mental health. Your mental health is so fragile. And I'm saying it's fragile because you never know what could happen that can ultimately cause you to break. You don't know. You have no idea. And the crazy part is when you do find out what what makes you break, the reality of how broken you get, or how broken I got, was hard to deal with, from the very beginning. Like, once I'm a very strong person. My personality is very strong. I'm very aggressive, I can do this by myself kind of person. I'm one of those people that, hey, I got this. When I'm broke, I didn't have it. I didn't have it. I didn't know how to pick up the pieces. I didn't know how to put them back together. Once I did pick up the pieces, I couldn't figure the shit out to save my life. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it blew my mind. So one of the things that I was so grateful that I had was the ability to sit by myself and gather up what I was going through without feeling that void of somebody not being there to help me, or feeling that uncomfortable feeling of, oh shit, what people gonna think of me because I'm sitting by myself in a movie theater, or oh shit, what are people gonna think of me sitting by myself at this beach? Oh, my beach is the favorite. Oh my goodness, I have a whole tent. Y'all done seen my get up. If y'all look at my Facebook page, y'all know my tent. I got blankets, I got chairs, I got the whole ordeal. When I go to the beach, people think I done moved in at the damn beach. I'm talking about pillows, covers, I'm talking about tables, hammocks. My whole beach set up looked like a damn living room set with the bed. It looked like a studio apartment. That's how well I am with self. And if I really want to make sure people don't start talking to me and shit, my tent that I take to the beach got a zip. Closes all the doors and the windows on my tent. So you don't even know I'm in there unless you come knocking on it. Other than that, I hammock all of it. I am good with self. So when shit went bad, that was one of the plus sides to being accustomed to being by myself is I was able to reflect more on what I was going through than being uncomfortable with being by myself. Mental health is hard for me. Like, this is hard because I don't like not having control of my mind. That was the one thing I never wanted to lose control of. If I ever got ill, I always wanted to be of sound mind and body. And I'm not saying that I'm not of sound mind and body right now. It's just that my mental health is just so damaged that a lot of the stuff that I was used to doing without even a thought is now like a battle in my brain sometimes, trying to figure out, is this right or is wrong? I've started to overthink because I've come to the realization that, I have to be careful about what decision I make, because that one decision that I make regardless to how simple or how extravagant the decision is going to affect me in one way or another. So I try to mentally prepare myself for decisions that I have to make on a day-to-day basis. And you wouldn't even believe the simplest of the decisions that I have to contemplate. Well, it looks like we are out of time. I just want to end this session by making sure that I come across with the help that I'm trying to give to those who know that they have an issue with, the outside voices when it comes to making a decision about the things that they are going through. It's always good. I always get outside help, especially on my most difficult decisions. But at the core of it, at the foundation of it, I make sure that I am truly capable of sitting to myself and making a decision, then getting some outside input to see, other viewpoints. And when you get those other viewpoints, don't push your already, well, I don't. Let me stop saying you. I got to get used to that. I don't push my already conclusions that I've drawn when I did my self-time. When I'm seeking outside, input, I'm seeking that outside input to kind of add on to what I already came to the conclusion of, and then comparing notes and kind of being attentive to, okay, if I take a little bit of this or took a little bit of that, or just throw away everything that somebody else has already given me and just go on what I thought, at least I dissected it well enough to know, okay, whatever decision or whatever happens after this, I did it with all of the best intentions and with the best of thoughts. One of the reasons that I do that is because I had a friend, one of my Fat Five. She was going through a breakup. I'm not going to say her name or nothing, but she was going through a breakup. But she didn't tell any of us about the breakup for a while. Like, she didn't tell us for a long time. And I think we were in a cabin when we were talking about it. They had took me to the cabin for my birthday in Tennessee. And we were sitting at the table talking about it. And we were like, one of us asked her, well, why didn't you tell us that's what you was going through? Why didn't you tell us about the breakup or none of that? Because her and the guy had been together for like ever. And she was like, because I wanted to make a decision based on how I felt and not how everybody else felt. So I took the time that I needed to decide whether or not I was going to take him back, decide whether or not I was going to end this, decide what I was going to do if I ended this, decided what I was going to do if I decided to take him back. She took the time to herself to make a decision for herself, because she was the one living that situation. She was the one in that relationship, and it was the most profound, ingenious information that I had ever got from any therapist or psychiatrist I have ever seen. That one piece of information. So I truly appreciated her, not only doing that, but sharing with us that's how she handled her situation. And from there on, that was it. That's how I would handle my situations. Self. Let me talk to self first. And when I'm done talking to self, then I'll, if I feel like it needs to be expressed, I'll express it. Learn to love yourself enough to trust yourself. It does look weird sitting someplace. I even go to Universal by myself. I ride them rides. I get in a single line rider, honey, and I go there and have a freaking ball. I love it. Learn to love yourself enough to know that it's okay to be by yourself when you need to be by yourself. This is EJayShonte. Thank you for joining me today. And until next time, love each other.